What's up, everybody? Another week of Yards After the Catch podcast, the last week of 2025. Thank y'all for sticking in there with us. We had a great year. Hope you did too. Happy holidays to you guys. And Mark, what's up, man? How we doing?
We're doing great, man. Happy New Year. Football season's coming to an end. I know we still got the playoffs, but the end is imminent. So let's enjoy what we got left. All right.
That's right. That's right. We got a jam-packed week 18. We're going to get into it. A couple do or die games to decide the last playoff picture seeding. But before we do, we want to jump into a couple very consequential games for week 17 that I know you all were covering. We're watching at home while you were hanging out for Christmas with you and your families. So we'll rewind. We'll go back to Thursday on Christmas Day. We had Detroit Lions going into Minnesota, playoff hopes on the line, and they blew it. 23-10 was the final. Minnesota pulls the upset, and what a fall from grace for Detroit from just a year ago. You would think coming into this year, they had high hopes. Injuries started settling in. All the wear and tear of Ben Johnson's absence and all the shouldered responsibility for Dan Campbell just could not be overcome. What were your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, like you said, man, it goes to show how important coordinators can be for a team.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is most definitely missing Ben Johnson.
Yep.
I'm not sure about Aaron Glenn, but I think we're starting to see that Ben Johnson might have been what made this Detroit offense really click. I think sometimes Campbell gets a little bit too much credit for his like dog mentality and going for it on fourth, when really it kind of shoots himself in the foot a lot, it seems. But yeah, Detroit, big disappointment. This was really the only game of big consequence on Christmas, but it's just it's disappointing for those Detroit fans out there. This is not what they wanted on the holiday. And Minnesota, it's crazy. They're the same record as Detroit now, and they finished with three passing yards. I mean, he was 9 for 16 for 51 yards, but it came out to three passing yards with the sacks that he took, 7 for 48. So it's like, and they still figure it out. It's like, what happens if they re-sign Sam Darnold? Is this just like a completely different team? Are they in the one seed instead of Seattle? It's just crazy to think, man. But good for the Vikings. Good for JJ McCarthy. I think he's stringing together some good games as of late, and it'll build his confidence going into next year.
Yeah, all great stuff. I totally agree with you. I think that the resilience and the turnaround of this team with Minnesota, they were kind of the laughing stock 6 weeks ago. We were calling JJ McCarthy's name by number 9. We were throwing every joke in the book, but they basically finished, whether it's 8-9 or 9-8. It's a respectable finish for a team that really had nothing to play for, with such a tough division. Besides their pride, I do expect Brian Flores to start getting some calls as soon as next week, and the week after, just because he's a guy who's been proven in this league. He comes off the Belichick tree, but he really hasn't had the full length with which he could really build a team. He was kind of shortchanged in Miami, didn't have choices about that draft with Herbert. I think he could really do something with a blank slate, and who knows with his future. But yeah, it's just amazing. That defense absolutely smothering, causing 6 turnovers. They really kept Jared Goff on his back feet and really out of disarray. This was a really tough game to watch. They only combined for 392 yards in total between both teams. But all that being said, Minnesota took care of business one way or another, and they got the job done. Um, it's really disappointment for Detroit, because those fans have been loyal. They've sat through a lot of bad seasons. You finally get Ben Johnson, this prodigy. He stays and returns after getting all these rumored talks with Indianapolis the year prior to possibly get that coaching job. Shows loyalty to the organization. They really make it they take it on a run last year. They run up against Washington and they ultimately could fall short. But you think coming into this year that they could really have the pieces in house to bring it back to glory, and they just couldn't. It was a tough way to go out. It really was. What's the future, do you think, for this Lions team? I mean, do you think it's just a matter of simply getting healthy, or do you think they need to bring in some new stuff on offense?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think they might need to bring in a new play caller and maybe like Dan Campbell needs to take a step back and just kind of manage the game more, maybe not be as aggressive and just kind of rely on his playmakers to do their thing. I think they need some help on defense too.
Yep.
They've been more of an offensive team. I think they could be more balanced that way. But I think if we're comparing these two teams, I think you should be more disappointed as a Lions fan as opposed to a Vikings fan. I know the Vikings went very far last year, or they finished pretty well, but kind of fell flat in the playoffs. But
Yeah.
I think as a Vikings fan going into this year, you probably tempered your expectations when JJ was announced as a starter. It was pretty bleak at the beginning, but if you ask me, I think the past 4 weeks or so, he's looked, like he's learning and he's getting better. And, I remember watching Josh Allen at the end of his rookie season,
Oh yeah.
learning and getting better, and then coming back the next year and looking that much better. So I think,
Hmm.
I would be more optimistic as a Vikings fan going forward, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just just to kind of put a bow on it too, in terms of speculation with Detroit. I mean, they're in the bottom third in all statistical categories on defense. So it clearly is, that is the area of need. I mean, you got Jameer Gibbs, you got Hawkinson, you've got some really nice pieces. St. Brown when he's healthy. You have Jared Goff, who I still think can sling it, and I think he plays well in the right context and the right climate with the pieces that he has. So I think, yeah, definitely bring in like an offensive coordinator with ingenuity, someone who's really hungry, who has a younger mind for the game, kind of like a McVay, um, who can keep kind of replace a semblance of Ben Johnson, and then I think just getting that defense healthy. I mean, I'm not sure what their draft stock is in terms of the first 4 rounds of the draft, but if they have anything towards the top, 4 rounds, I think they should definitely go heavy on defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, great stuff, Mark. Let's keep it rolling. We're gonna cover the Saturday night game, which was Houston going into the Chargers in Los Angeles. Houston's been red hot, and they didn't slow down. They win a tough nitty gritty game, 2016, showing off their defense, flexing at every level. Justin Herbert was shaken, 21 of 32, one touchdown and a pick. They kept his QBR well under 90, which was a pretty stellar performance from the Houston defense. They sure up the 5 seed at 11-5. Chargers are now sitting at 6, hopefully playing Jacksonville at the beginning of next month. So, first off, what were your thoughts on this game? Because I know we were together for some of it, just to peel back the fourth wall on Saturday watching the UConn Bowl game. But also, what do you think Houston is the hottest team in the playoffs right now in the AFC?
Absolutely. Um, as a Bills fan, this is like the one team I really don't want to play.
Yep.
Like, honestly, give me the Patriots or the Broncos before this team, just based off their defense alone. Um, I mean, we saw what the Texans did to the Bills Thursday night a few weeks back. That was traumatizing, and based on how Josh Allen looked last week, I'm even more terrified of that defensive line. So it really is defensively, they're the best. Um, and offensively, they're figuring it out. They started off quick in this game. They had 14 points in the first quarter,
Mhm.
and then at that point, they're playing with a lead, and they can kind of just pin their ears back and get after Justin. I mean, 5 sacks again. It's hard to win that way when you're getting sacked 5 times a game,
Yeah.
and he's already got a broken hand, and he's a tough sob. I got to give him credit. They're really missing Sean Slater, Joe Alt.
Hmm.
That's the bread and butter of this team, and it's kind of looking like they're cementing themselves into the 7th seed. Uh,
Yeah.
Chargers are going to rest Herbert next week, and that will most likely line them up to play the Patriots. So going all the way out east as an LA football team, it's never easy. So I do think the Texans are hot, and I think the Chargers might be trending in an unfortunate direction.
Yeah, it's really hard because, now you're set yourself up to play Jacksonville again in the first round. We know the collapse that they had 2 years prior in the playoffs in the first round. So that may come back to haunt them. But just on the Houston side, I really do agree with you that this is the hottest team in the AFC. They really know how to just piece enough together on offense to win games, and it's really the hallmarks of this defense that is going to carry them far. They can control the rock. They can control the time of possession. If they could stay out of their way, I think that they're unstoppable. I know that Stroud had two interceptions on Saturday, which you take those out of the picture. I think this is a lot more fortuitous ending for Houston. They can really play with that lead even further, keep some short fields, and run it down their throat. But if you're the Chargers, man, it's kind of the same old, same old. I mean, they're limping into the playoffs. They still look every year like the second best team in the AFC West to
Yeah,
be the afterthought in the playoff picture. I think the key for them is just leaning on that defense. I think it's really going to be the crucial part because Omar Hampton's been kind of in and out of the lineup all year. He's been really shaky. They haven't had like a backbone, bread and butter kind of bell cow back and a 1-2 punch with Herbert. Herbert, depending on the game you get him, whether he's home or he's away, he's been kind of running for his life. And this game was no shortage of that for sure. But it was a very impressive game. It's Houston just getting hot at the right time, and I think the sky's the limit. I think that they really are going to be a nuisance for, they're going to be a nuisance for whether they play Pittsburgh or Baltimore. They really are.
yeah. I think the biggest thing working against them is that they're going to have to play on the road. So, you know, playing outside, we'll see what happens. But they've won two playoff games already with CJ Stroud, so they have some playoff experience. And you know how the Chargers have been with Herbert. So
Yeah,
uh, I know they're slated to play the Jags right now, but I think by the end of it, they'll probably be playing the Patriots. So, I mean, either matchup is great. The AFC is just endless entertainment this year.
it's been wild. It's been every week you got to check to see what the matchups are going to be recalibrated. So, yeah, I don't expect Herbert to be successful going up to New England with that team being hot as they've been the second half of the year, in that cold weather. But also too, I don't expect I expect Houston with Stroud getting a second look at Lamar Jackson in a playoff game, 2 years removed or maybe 3 years removed. I think he's learned a lot from that. I think
Yeah,
I think that entire coaching staff has learned a lot from that experience, and I think that they have a better formula going into this game. I think they have a far better, superior defense than they had a few years ago. Um, and we kind of know what Baltimore is. They have one way of winning the game. So if they can kind of key in on Henry, they're gonna be solid.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
But we'll stay on Baltimore. Let's go to the Saturday night game. It was a premier matchup on Peacock. Shout out to NBC. Um, all hail the king, as they say. Derrick
Yeah,
Henry was an absolute moose. 4 touchdowns in this game, well over 200 yards on the ground. He was the absolute antidote. Without Lamar with the hammy, Tyler Huntley did enough to win this game, and they kept their playoff hopes alive. 41-24 was your final. Back up to 500 and one win away from a playoff berth. Green Bay regresses back to 9-6-1. Mark, what were your thoughts?
is it a hammy for Lamar?
Was it a hammy?
Is it his back? Like, does anyone really know what's going on? I'm looking up his status for this week. It's uncertain. It's like you're not playing this week. Like what's going on with Lamar Jackson? I mean, clearly they did not need him this game. Just
Yeah.
Derrick Henry having one of those career games. First ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion. It's no question. And it's crazy. Like the last time the Patriots won the AFC East, they lost to Derrick Henry in the first round of the playoffs, and like he kind of gravitated that Titans team to
Yep,
a couple wins. I think they made the conference championship that year.
they did.
And I think if Baltimore's going to have any success in the playoffs, assuming they win this week, um, they're going to have to ride the coattails of Derrick Henry because Lamar Jackson is MIA right now, and you just don't get good information out of Baltimore. And Tyler Huntley's playing pretty good. It's funny is that they actually let him go last year. Like he was on the Dolphins and the
I
Browns.
know.
He's such a good fit for them as a backup, and like
Perfect fit.
I don't think there's like Lamar's great. I know I'm talking some smack, but like when you go from Lamar to Huntley, like it's not like a crazy drop off, at least with the way they run the ball and just
Nope.
the way the offense operates.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, they need Lamar. They need Lamar. I just don't know what's going on there. But yeah, if Derrick Henry isn't fumbling like he was earlier in the year and he's playing like this, uh, you got to run the ball in this cold weather playoff football. That's how you win.
Yep.
And the Packers just just a team that we kind of thought was like potentially the best in the NFL, and a few injuries later, it's looking bleak. I really like Malik Willis. I
Yep.
think he honestly deserves a chance to be a starter somewhere, I believe, and I think he will get like maybe like a Sam Darnold contract in Minnesota, like
Hmm.
1 year, 10 million. Like see if you can win the starting job or be
Yep.
a spot starter. I really like what I see from him, and the team stays competitive, but Jordan Love does give you that extra kind of and arm talent and off schedule playmaking. So
Yeah.
they're going to need him, and missing Parsons is really going to be killer for them in the playoffs. It's looking like they'll probably be a 7 seed. So it's not what we expected out of the Packers this year and the Ravens. Just two teams that kind of are falling short of probably a lot of people's expectations from early in the year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think when we exited the 24-25 season, I think everybody was really, really excited about Jordan Love. They saw what they remembered down in Dallas during the playoffs. They were really excited about his future, and they kind of took him off the shelf with Aaron's absence being out of town. Yeah, it just felt like a really like deflating kind of season. Even if they win tomorrow, I mean, if they win Sunday, excuse me, it just doesn't really feel like an accomplished season. We're kind of moving into the playoffs as the seventh seed. It's really hard for me to be confident about this team. I expect a lot more from Matt LaFleur, to be honest. This is an established guy. He was down in Tennessee when Arthur Smith was there, and when uh, Mike Vrabel was there as the head coach. So there was kind of a hotbed of really good action where he kind of knows what to get out of Derrick Henry and how to stop Derrick Henry if that's possible. You
Yeah.
can at least scheme for the only guy you're going to be keying in on, in a game like this with the absence of Lamar Jackson. So he's been around that environment. I would have expected him to have a better game plan for this kind of game. It felt like they just kind of got run back into the locker room, run right off the field, and just not what I expected. I expected a lot more of a competitive game. But, with that being said, Ravens played for their life. Harbaugh played for his job, if you ask me. I was very impressed with the amount that they went back to Henry on. He looked like he was fine by the end of the game. Didn't really slow him down despite the weather. And I think moving forward with this first round matchup, if you do have to play Houston, I think the recipe is very simple. And I don't think there's much of a drop off, like you said, with Lamar. And it's not
Yeah.
necessarily an indictment on him. It's just this system's been built over many years since Flacco left, and it's built the very specific way. So if you're going to open the field and you're going to have a bell cow like Henry, you got to start dinking and dunking to Mark Andrews and hitting Zay Flowers and hitting Likely. You got pieces.
Yep.
I mean, there's pieces. There's real
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah.
And
Hopkins and there's a few other guys.
yep. And when we
Bateman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And when we get into the Pittsburgh preview for next week, they have those two major advantages at the offensive line and those offensive weapons. That's really going to be huge for them. So, but with that being said, I thought this was huge. I mean, obviously, Ravens were playing for their life. Green Bay showed us kind of who they really are, and we'll see how it shakes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Steelers losing was big time for the Ravens. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not we're not talking about this matchup coming up unless they lost, and they just crazy.
it's still
Losing,
it's still
losing to
unfound.
the Browns.
Yeah, what can Brown do for you? Well, Stefanski cannot fuck up a betting line. That's for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, we'll move on to the AFC South. Another consequential game for the sake of keeping the AFC South alive. Jacksonville going into Indianapolis. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, folks. 23-17. Da, da, da. I just lost it. Okay. 23-17. Jacksonville on the road playing Old Man Rivers. Uh, Trevor Lawrence and the crew take care of business. Cohen is making his stamp for Coach of the Year. He's hanging in there with Vrabel and with Mike McDonald up in Seattle. What were your thoughts on just kind of how they took care of this game and clinching the AFC South?
Yeah, I mean, good for the Jaguars. I probably would not have predicted this going into the season. I think I probably picked the Texans going into the year, winning the division. And they might be better than the Jags, but you have to give the Jags their flowers. Liam Cohen has come in and completely turned this franchise around. I think he was like the first new head coach, first year head coach to win 12 games after a 4-win season or something like that.
Crazy.
So it's quite the turnaround, and they've just kind of been on a roll recently. They're doing their thing. You know, Trevor's playing clean football. Defensively, they're all over the place.
Mhm.
ETN is kind of resurging after a down year, I'd say last year. Um, Things are just kind of falling their way, and it's looking like the 3 seed is likely for them. And my Bills might have to play this team, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't love going down to Florida and facing a defensively strong team like Jacksonville. I mean, the Bills have never won on the road in the playoffs, and so they're going to be an easy matchup. Clearly, Liam Cohen is just, he's like making bulletin board material for himself. Like Sean Payton was literally like giving compliment to like how they're a small market team and people don't really know how good they are. And Liam Cohen just dwells on, oh, he's saying we're a small market team, like we got to show him. And it's like, hey man, you do what you gotta do. Like that's how you kind of rally a group of men. And on the other side, it's like what a fall from grace for the Colts.
Yeah.
And it's like they were 7-1 at one point, and then they make a swing and trade for Sauce Gardner, who I don't think is worth 2 first-round picks.
No way.
No way. I mean, they were like 1-7 after that trade, and
Yeah.
they have no future assets, like at least in the first round.
Yeah.
And you kind of put all like you're kind of were banking on Daniel Jones to be your guy, and he just tore his Achilles. Like they're gonna have to figure out something at quarterback next year because he's
Yep.
probably not going to be ready week 1. And it's just from the beginning of the season to now, it's crazy how much can change. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's starting to look like Ursay's daughter might be cramping their style a little bit.
Ah, shit. Yeah. No, I mean,
Literally.
yeah. Well, they could be in the Malik Willis 1 year signing deal sweepstakes too.
That's it. That's a
I think
good,
that's
good
kind
pick.
of yeah, and we'll keep an eye on Richardson too. I think that there's too much young talent on this team to just hit the brakes and sacrifice a whole season next year. And with
Yeah.
that being said, I think it's unfortunate how the season went down. Going 1-7, but since the last 8 weeks. And then just the opposite of that, Jacksonville's won 7 straight. So,
Yeah.
so it's crazy how things transpire. Jacksonville was 4-5, going into week 10, and they turned this thing around in short order. And yeah, kudos to Cohen for the turnaround that he's made in this 1 year's time. They were absolutely amazing during this game. I think this whole year was kind of a testament that small market teams can win, and you can win outside of warm weather too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really critical. We saw that in the week, against Denver. I don't think that was an anomaly. I think that was a rule and not the exception. Um, and I'm just really excited about this Jacksonville team. It doesn't feel like the team that Trevor Lawrence took to the playoffs a few years ago. It doesn't feel fluky. It feels grounded. They have a great running game with ETN, and I love Parker Washington the way he's come on the last few
Oh
weeks.
yeah, he's been
Brian
great.
Thomas. Now you got Myers in the absence of Travis Hunter with his injury. So I just I'm really excited about this team. Again, a lot of young talent, and that kicker Little is he's an animal.
Oh yeah,
He's got a boot.
he has the record, right?
Yeah, something like 73 yards or something.
Yeah, you can't scoff at that.
Yeah, yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting matchup. Congrats on the Jags for winning the AFC South for the first time in a long time.
And congrats to Philip Rivers for showing up the past few
Yeah,
weeks. Lots of props, honestly.
yeah, and if he can win his last game of the year next week, that'll be just the cherry on top for coming back for 4 games. All the pain he's been through.
Is he gonna play?
I feel like he can't go out without a win.
Yeah.
To just come back for just 4 kicks in the dick. I don't know if you want to do that. I
Save
think,
your knee. Save your knee, dude. Go play with your kids.
yeah, I know, right? Especially now that we're on the north side of 30, we got to feel about that too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah, but Jags should take care of business next week, Sunday, 1 o'clock on January 4th. They got the Titans at home, so that's a cakewalk.
Mhm.
That's a desperate team. So, with that being said, we will move on, and I got to give you a little pain, Mark. I hate to do it to you. 4:30, we got to go back and rewind it to your boys up against Philly. Coming up short, 13-12. Joshy has an all-time run, 2 back-to-back touchdowns. They missed the extra point on the first go around. Come down. It's top of their minds. They're going for 2. They're going for it all because they've already got a playoff spot and just misses the throw. It was the right call. We've talked about it in the pre-show. I think it was the right call. I think you got to have faith in the best player. And in that situation, it's just one of those things where the weather was shitty all day. The ball got away from him, and well, I'll let you take it away. You do it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help being on your third kicker of the season. Tyler Bass on IR. Matt Prater has like a quad injury right now, so here comes in Michael Badgley, who the Colts had to cut for missing extra points, and well, he does the same exact thing on the Bills.
Yep.
So, everyone's like, "Oh, you kicked the extra point. You kicked the extra point," but yeah, you kicked the extra point if you made the first extra point. You're not going to throw this guy back out there. He can't get the ball up clearly high enough.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Josh Allen with 2 yards all day for a win. Yeah, and like preserve our players who are hobbling and injured. Like, let's just end this now. So
Yeah.
I do not disagree with the call. Shakir was wide open. It was a great play call, which was not the case on a lot of these offensive plays, I will say. Some egregious calls by Joe Brady. But Josh just misses it. He's never been as good throwing to his left, and he's rolling to his left on a bad foot. Just got away from him. But it would sting a lot more if they didn't have a playoff berth clinched. And now that they are probably going to sit Josh, it gives him a week to kind of let that foot heal. Hopefully Mitch Trubisky can handle the Jets. If he handles the Jets, it looks like we're playing the Jaguars. If not, probably the Patriots. It's a road game either way. Got to get your guys healthy. So that's kind of my mentality with this loss. Definitely disappointing on the offense. It'll be good to see when Kincaid comes back because Brandon Cooks had probably the best wide receiver performance on the
Mhm.
Bills this year. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
Finally getting downfield. It's a good thing to see. And the defense too was really the side of the ball that showed up.
Yeah.
They
Totally.
just they just seem to kind of it takes them a half and they make adjustments at halftime and then they play like lights out. I mean, Jalen Hurts did not complete a pass in the second half. Like,
Unbelievable.
are you kidding me? And they still win. But that was the key to Philly winning today. Clean offense.
Yep.
Not turning the ball over. Just, oh, we have a 13-point lead. Like,
Yep.
let's just not screw this up. And well, what do you know? Josh Allen has a messy fumble, and some people are like, oh, he was throwing the balls, I was going for it. I was like, kind of hard to say, especially since it was
Yeah.
called fumble on the field. Just it was a tough one to watch. It was a sloppy game though. Like it was downpouring. Like there's just
Yeah.
that visual rain. Like
Yep.
so you gotta hang your hat a little bit on that. But
Yep.
I'm happy with the defensive performance. But my guys on offense gotta get healthy. Josh, take the first snap next week. Extend your starting streak, and then it's Mitch Trubisky for the day against the Jets. Let's see it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Before I welcome in Bars, I just want to just kind of put my 2 cents on this game, and then I'll get CJ's thoughts on it. I totally agree. I think Philly just was totally dominated by the Bills defense. I thought they played and executed a perfect game plan on the defensive side of the ball. Kept them under 200 yards, which is amazing. Forced 7 punts. But I think ultimately, like you said, it was just boiled down to that one play, but a very resilient second half. And, kind of what we see in this league a lot, a tale of two halves being kind of the whole formula to these games and how they transpire. Buffalo ran down their throat. They won time possession by 10 minutes, doubled them up on the ground. I really have no complaints with this Bills game considering the conditions. So we'll see what happens in the first round and how things shake out. But with that being said, I want to welcome in Bars the God. How you doing, brother?
Going on, man? You already know what it is.
Looking fly.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Nice
I'm in
shirt.
work clothes, but you know what it is. Uh, but yeah, I'm glad I had some time to stop in before you guys got
Yes,
off,
sir.
and I'm glad that I came in during this game particularly because I'm the Buffalo basher, and if there's nothing I like more is talking about the downfall of the Buffalo Bills. Now, yes, they
Well,
made the
you said they
playoffs.
weren't making the playoffs beginning of the year, right?
All right, clip that, quote me, but.
You two teams can make a playoff from a division, right? You said the Patriots are going to make it, the Bills weren't, but they both can make it.
And I was right about my Patriots prediction. Crazy
Patriots
right.
look good, man, but
You
my
were. You
Bills
were
are
right
still
about that.
hanging on.
Right about that.
Crazy right
Definitely a
about that.
playoff team.
Now, Patrick Mahomes, which is known to be the Josh Allen killer, he's not in the playoffs. And if he don't get out the first round, which I believe that he's gonna have a lot of trouble this year getting out the first round, as long as they're not playing Pittsburgh, apparently. But if they get out the first round, it's gonna be problematic, even if they play Pittsburgh, honestly, because I think playoff football is where we thrive at this year because we looking really strong. Let's not talk about that drop of a game, but
Oh, we can talk about that if you want. We can talk about losing to
Yeah,
Cleveland.
what the hell happened,
we
dude?
talking about we talking about weather conditions. Stay on topic, fellas. Stay on topic, fellas.
I'm
We
on
talking
top
about
of it. I'm on every word, dude.
we talking about weather conditions, right? Let's talk about these weather conditions. They play in Buffalo, right? Buffalo got some of the craziest weather conditions going on. Like like crazy, crazy rain, crazy snow. So for the weather to be an implication, and I know it was kind of crazy, but Philly played good too. Philly live in the rain. So I guess it was I don't know, for you to say weather for them, but not weather for Philly. I just think, how do I say it? I think that the Bills basically got exposed. Josh Allen don't got no one to throw the ball to basically. Outside of his tight ends, and one of them is hurt right now. Um, And once James Cook can't get off, that's pretty much it for them. Like without James Cook busting at least 50, 60 yards, like we all know his 100 yard games, but without him doing any of that work that he's normally doing, they're not winning the game. Saquon didn't have to be a world breaker. No one had to be a world breaker in this game, to be honest, when you stop and look at the stats. But I don't know. It just shows you that the Bills are much more depleted than they have been in the last, like I would say, 3 years, right? How long has Josh been over there? Probably what, 5 years now? I would say the last
8.
4 years.
You're
Eight?
8. You're 8.
Damn.
Yeah.
Didn't even seem like it. All right, so the last 7 years, they seem quite depleted. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that they have a number one or two receiver over there. Like they're facing that Pittsburgh wide receiver room problem that we faced last year. Even some of it still this year because DK out, we can't throw the ball to nobody. Valdez Scantling is a step too slow. Like
DK
everyone else is
suspended.
just, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
DK suspended. So it's like without DK, like I'm saying, like we don't got no one to throw the ball to. So I feel like Josh Allen's having that same problem over there. He don't really got no one to throw the ball to. Shakir, come on, stop it. Like, and then like they should have made moves before the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah.
They could have got Rashid. They could have got Tyler freaking Lockett. They could have got anyone. They could have got Jacoby Myers, which
Yeah.
turned out to be the trade deadline hero of this off season. I mean this season, because look at what he did for. They didn't do much, but he did enough for the Jags. Look at the Jags. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I don't know. The Bills. I don't think they're going to make it out of the first round. Guarantee that. Quote that. Stamp it. Put it down. Let Mark know that this is what I'm saying. I'm doubling down.
I
They
want to
may
hear from you.
I don't think the Steelers are making the playoffs, bud. And
don't do
I'm
that.
pretty
Don't
sure
do
we
that.
said they were the most likely team to not make the playoffs that was in the
Don't do
playoffs
that.
last
Don't
year.
do that.
So sorry, man.
We got
Take
we
pick.
got we got taste we got taste for it from this week, but I want to see that same energy after Sunday. It's game 242, 272 of 272 with Pittsburgh and Baltimore at the end of the year, Sunday night. I want to see what happens.
Sound bite
Me
it.
too.
Sound bite it. Yo, listen,
Oh, we're gonna be
listen,
clipping all this. All this.
listen.
It's year-end review, baby.
I
All
need to
That's
year
see.
it.
I
review.
need to see. I need to see all the clips up. Me acting a fool, everything. Put a little thing on my face if we lose, but I know we not losing. So I need to see the winner clips. So
I can see the thing on your face now.
Jameis Winston eating the W.
All
Like, let's
right.
go.
While I got you, Bars, I want to hit two quick pieces of order. I want to talk about Chicago, San Fran, because that could have been possibly the game of the year. What were your thoughts on that, real quick? And then we'll get your pick for Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Chicago San Fran was crazy. Didn't say that I saw the whole game, but from what I did see, it was crazy. Um, wait a minute.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I don't know why I'm thinking about the Ravens.
42-38.
Yeah, crazy game, crazy game. I think Brock Purdy has shown like he's hearing the talk and he's like trying to show, all right, look, I'm the guy. You know, he's trying to like, and he's doing it with a depleted defense. So you kind of got to give it to him. Caleb Williams is showing that all he needed last year was an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
They've turned it around heavy from the beginning of the season. Everyone was like, "Oh my God," they were so worried. But now look at the Bears. The Bears are actually back in contention. So it's like let's talk about it. Crazy game, shootout if you want to call it a shootout because the numbers were
Was
going crazy. Purdy had what, like 5 tutties.
5 tutties. Crazy stuff.
So
He came
crazy
back in a
game,
big way.
crazy game. And if we're really talking about it, these last 3 or 4 weeks, it's been having like one or two crazy killer games,
Hmm.
like a couple of duds, but then some killer games.
Yeah, he shows that with he can thrive within Shanahan's offense. It's not the one year that they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Even with players down and the injuries they've had, he's been able to kind of steady the ship, and he could be the franchise guy they paid him to be.
yeah.
Um,
They pick up a lot of good offensive pieces. So I will say that they keep that around him really well. But aside from that, the defense, they're holding out pretty strong. But they gotta fix something up there because they put up 38 points on you.
they miss Fred Warner a lot. They do.
Fred Warner is the linchpin to that defense. He literally is.
and Nick Bosa, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what? Now, how do you feel about Chicago loses the number one seed now in the NFC with this loss? But now San Francisco subsequently they play Seattle for the number one seed and for the NFC West title. Do you have a? How do you feel about San Francisco going to the playoffs with that organization, that roster, that leadership with Shanahan?
They could definitely take a playoff game. I feel like the NFC is kind of hard this year, though. It's a
It
lot
really
of.
is.
I feel like there's a lot of heavy hitters this year in the NFC, and they got to kind of. The Lions went down, but they ain't go down just to like let anybody walk through. The Bears is in there. I believe. I think the Packers are in there.
Yeah.
But I won't give the Packers any real juice without their starting quarterback. Um, like I don't know about the Bucks and how they look at it, but it's listen, the NFC is no joke this year. So as far as that, I would say like even the Seahawks, the Seahawks have been playing great for most of the season. Like they've probably dropped one or two games.
Mhm.
That game against the Rams is another one of those games that I'm talking about where it's like crazy prime time drama, drama, drama. Like this game went in the freaking overtime. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you like the Seahawks are really showing that they kind of Sam Darnold showing that he got it. So if they can make it past any two of those any two of those teams that I'm if they can make it past two of those teams, then that's a different story. But you still got to make it past the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? And the Eagles have showed that they don't need to play world breaking football. They just need to play football, and they can
Hmm.
win the game. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the 49ers getting out of the second round, but I definitely see them going out of the first round. Like, and if they do lose in the first round, they lost to a team that deserved it because the NFC's killing it right now. I'm not gonna hold you.
It's a lot better year over year compared to what it was last year. I think last year North was a really heavy division, and it was kind of wild west, wide open after that. We didn't really see a lot of big heavy hitters outside of that, especially with Philly. What's crazy is like if San Francisco wins, oh yeah, there we go. So if San Francisco wins, they take the one seed. Seattle comes back to the five. Now, if Seattle wins the first round against Carolina, then to my understanding, they play them again in the second round. I think that's how it works, right? With the new playoff format as the
Um,
five seed.
they
Do I
would play the lowest seed left. So if the
play?
five seed, if the 6 and 7 lose, then yes, they play the five.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so that would make sense. Yeah, so it would be interesting to see how many like when you play the same team in division and then you have to face them in the playoffs. When these teams are so comfortable with each other and they know what they're getting, it's like how much who does that who does that advantage benefit? That's the real question. I know Bars, you have limited time with us, dog. Um, I do want to. Oh, it looks like he's on a pause. So what we'll do is, Mark, I'll give you the floor to kind of talk about the Chicago San Fran game because we kind of gave Bars a little bit of time here. What were your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, kind of going off what he said, like Purdy's showing he's the guy. Like you really do see a difference with him out there, and I will be the first to say I was not a big Brock Purdy believer, but I might be starting to be more of a believer now. Um, just a great game. Just really great. An offensive shootout for sure. Purdy with 5 touchdowns. Caleb throwing over 300 yards. Um, it's just two of the best teams in the NFC, really. And the Niners are in contention for that one seed, like we were talking about. And I kind of think they might take care of business. Playing at home this week, Seattle. Sam Darnold is a little shaky when it comes to these big games, and I think I could see him kind of slipping down to that 5 seed at this point. The Bears are kind of settled at the 2 seed, I think. They'll end up there, which is way better than people would have expected going into the
Hmm.
year. I think we're really seeing how Ben Johnson has hit the ground running up there, and it's it's uh it's good to see for Chicago. I know I've said it before. Chicago, as a city, deserves a good football team,
Oh
and
yeah.
they finally have the head coach and quarterback, and the rest is history. We'll see. And the Niners are in a good spot too. I think these are just you can't really get too disappointed from these performances from either team. I'd say it's just good football to watch. I mean, maybe defensively you're a little concerned, but it's how a lot of these games turn out. It's high-powered offenses and shootouts and prime time. We love it.
Yeah, we do love it, man. This is what the league's about these days. It's all about offense. But yeah, if there's any room for concern on both sides of the field, I think it's really just about defense, just kind of cleaning things up. We know San Fran is playing with a half stack deck. They don't have the guys, so they're playing on borrowed time. But Shanahan's doing a tremendous job on a coaching level.
Yeah,
These guys ready and juiced up, playing over their skis, so to speak. Ben's really been the antidote. He's really turned this around. We've been talking about it all year. I think Caleb hitting 9 different receivers this game, QBR over 100. He keeps guys guessing. It's kind of the same thing we gave a lot of love to Jordan Love to up in Green Bay was you didn't know who he was going to hit. He really spread out the ball on offense. I think there's a lot of that in the formula that Ben Johnson brings to Chicago. I think he, perfect example. Luther Burden went off for a career game, 138 and a touchdown. And then you followed up with a 1-2 with Colson Loveland. He almost had 100 yards and a touchdown as well. So,
2 draft picks from this year.
Which is fire
that's
because I was like, who the hell is Luther Burden?
welcome back, buddy.
What a name.
Yeah, for real. For real. Yeah, no, this is one of those games
Hey,
that was
Alex,
like,
I'm just gonna have my camera off for a little bit.
yeah, you're good.
That's okay. All right.
Of course, not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, we were just giving our 2 cents on this game, and then we'll preview Chicago. We'll preview Pittsburgh, Baltimore, so that way you can get your 2 cents in before we say goodbye to you. Yeah, I think this was just a really exciting game. It's possibly I think the game of the year, just from an entertainment standpoint, and completely inconsequential when you consider both teams are already in the playoffs. But for seeding purposes, there is some implications from this game. Lots to learn about both teams, particularly with Purdy and what he can do and what his ceiling is as a leader. But yeah, just shout out to McCaffrey and the whole crew. Hopefully they get Kittle back before playoff time. I know he's been kind of questionable the past few weeks, and then they can be closer to full form. With that being said, while we got Bars, our man here, we're gonna hit the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game real quick. Sunday, 1 o'clock, 8:30 Sunday night game, last game of the season. Lots of implications. This is it in terms of the AFC North and crowning a champion for that division. Bars, are you there, my man?
Yes, I am here, and it's crazy because the last time that we had the Ravens at the
Yep.
end of the year, Derrick Henry ran like for 4,000 yards on us. Like, so it's almost laughable to say that, I feel that we're going to win again after Derrick Henry had such a monster game that he had. But I will say this. We're definitely going to take it. Is Lamar playing or is Huntley playing?
Right now it's Huntley, but he's questionable.
Who?
Lamar's questionable.
Lamar's questionable. I
Yeah.
think either or doesn't matter who's playing. I think we can take it. Our biggest threat is Derrick Henry. We have Derrick Harmon back. I think we're going to stifle that run game, but Huntley does play good against Pittsburgh. That's one thing people do have to give him. He plays pretty good against us, but I think his record is losing against us. I believe because we did play him last year. He might have won one, but I think he did drop the next one against us, and we played him I think the year before that too, and we took him out then. Lamar got a bad record against us, so it's something you kind of just got to look at situationally. But it is the last game of the year. It's got the biggest playoff implications. Without winning this game,
That's it.
without winning this game, we're just another 500 team. It's another Coach Tomlin 500 year. We have
Yeah.
to win this game so we could not only make the playoffs and kill the doubters and the naysayers, but we we gotta go into this one strong and kill all hope for Baltimore. Because if Baltimore makes it, if Baltimore loses, they're out of the playoffs, correct?
Of course. Yep.
Exactly.
That's
So
it.
boom, we just gotta crush their hopes. That's pretty much it. And then go into the playoffs, knowing showing everybody that Pittsburgh is here. Like we're not the same team we were last year. We kind of look the same, but we're not.
Yeah, yeah, you make great points. I think it's all about your defense too. I think with the weapons being out with Metcalf, Darnell Washington with the broken arm, you got questionable pieces across the board on your defense as well. Along that secondary, James Pierre, Brandon Eccles, Calvin Austin's questionable. Isaac Samilo, your guard is questionable as well, and then of course T.J. Watt. But I think ultimately T.J. Watt will be back in the lineup before Sunday's game. So health is obviously a concern, um, but I appreciate some of your insight, and I'm going to pass it over to Mark to kind of cap on it.
Yeah, just kind of touching on things that you guys have both said, but not having DK out there is concerning.
Yeah,
Darnell Washington, an underrated piece. He's
huge.
probably the best blocking tight end in the league, so that's going to impact their run game and their passing game since they like to throw to him. The defense is just not really playing like it used to. They kind of leaned on their defense in past years, and now I think they're getting a little old. And Aaron coming into the equation, like they've been able to throw the ball better, operate better as an offense, but not having those two pieces we mentioned, like that's a big deal for a win-in playoff game. And like we were talking about earlier, I think Lamar or Huntley, it's going to be about stopping Derrick Henry for this game. So
yeah,
if the Steelers can do that, then I think they win. But I don't know if they'll be able to. Derek Harmon is a great draft pick. I wish the Bills picked him, honestly. But we're talking about the king here, and it's playoff time, and they're rolling, and the Steelers are reeling. The Ravens are favored by 3.5 points, and I think that makes sense. I would pick the Ravens for this one, and I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs either.
Mark, don't you ever disrespect me like that again. First of all,
He's just keeping it real.
First of all,
Facts here, buddy.
we are not reeling. We are not reeling. We are technically still on a roll. We won the last 3 out of 4 games.
You just lost to the Browns, dude.
Yeah, that's a hard divisional game for us. That's our division. And yeah, we lost to the Browns with our number one receiver suspended, right? He's still suspended for another game. But after that, we're solid. But if they can't throw the ball, if they can't throw the ball and we can't throw the ball, it all comes down to the run game. And we got we got the best duo in the league right now.
You guys are atrocious on the run game.
Not the best duo in the league, buddy.
We got the best duo in the league right now.
You don't have Gibbs and Montgomery, dude. Come on.
In the last 4 weeks, look at Kenny. Look at in the last 4 weeks. Look at Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell's numbers. Look at their numbers. Put them up against anybody else.
All right, we'll ask the rest of the podcast what they think about that.
Yeah,
let's ask the rest of them.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
In the last 4 weeks, they got the best duo.
What about 16 games, dude, or 17? Sorry.
Hey, I said the last 4 weeks. Right now, we only talking about the last 4 weeks. All right, the last 16 games, our run game hasn't been, the greatest run game of all time, but the offense has stepped up. The offense is showing up in real big moments. Our defense is damn near depleted due to injury. First of all, our starting safety, Deshaun Elliott, hurt since like game 1, game 2, and Jalen Ramsey, who's arguably our best corner, is playing safety right now. We got James Pierre out, which is arguably our next best corner, stepping up.
Yep.
Joey Porter Jr. solid, but like I've seen a couple times, I've seen a lack of effort from him, or like he's just like whiffing on the play, like he's overcommitting something. Whatever it is, right now our defense is depleted. That front line is solid. You can't stop good offensive blocking. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta hope that your secondary is up to the task at that point. Right now, our secondary is looking strong. We're not depleted right now, so I feel like we got a good way to take this. Their favorite three. Their favorite what -3.5. That's
It's three and a
because
half for
yeah,
Baltimore.
their favorite 3.5 because we just lost the game. They just won a big one. Derrick Henry just came up with crazy performance, but because of that being said, with the playoff implications on the line, this is a tough game for them, just as tough as it's going to be for us.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately what this boils down to is creating short fields for Aaron because when in their 9 wins this year, he's 18 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. And I think creating short fields off turnovers, creating turnovers, you guys have a top 10 defense in terms of turnover production. I think if you can pop one out, you could force a fumble. If the weather plays in your favor, I think you guys can keep this game competitive. I think that's really the recipe. I don't think it's necessarily about the run game. I think it's keeping the defense honest, but you got to start hitting some other guys, for Aaron to be successful and for this team to have a chance. But for me, I think it's really, I mean, not to belabor the point too much, but I think you guys kind of hit it. I think you got to run it down Pittsburgh's throat if you're Baltimore. I mean, you shouldn't have less than 35 carries for Henry the same way
Yeah,
you did against Green Bay. We know they have a ton of weapons. They got Likely, they got Andrews, they got Zay Flowers. They can really spread this offense open, and Huntley looks comfortable. And I don't think you need to do a whole lot besides being a manager and keeping the defense honest. Keeping turnovers is going to be crucial
and
for
I'm telling you, he's pretty
Baltimore.
good at that. He's pretty
Yeah,
good at that.
no, Huntley's serviceable. He's been in this league a long time and he knows the system. So I think he'll be comfortable. I don't think the weight of the game is going to get to his head. Harbaugh's a great coach. So is Tomlin. This is going to be the most watched game. I think this is going to be the biggest one on Sunday for sure. There's no doubt about it. But Bars, do you have to run? Are you going to hang out with us? You good?
I could hang. I just probably won't talk as much. I'll
Yeah.
probably chime in.
Whenever you got to drop off, just let us know. You don't even have to. You don't even have to let us know on the audio. But we appreciate you hanging out with us, man.
Thank you for having me. I know it might be a little hard to hear me, and I'm sorry about the background noise.
You're good.
They changed my schedule, ruined the whole thing for me. But you guys know I was down to do this whole
We love your energy, dog. We appreciate you coming on, man.
You already know. You already know.
All right. All right. Thank you, man. Yeah, so before we get into the second game, or before we move off the topic, Mark, did you have anything last minute about Pittsburgh, Baltimore?
I'm just adding up rushing yards here.
Watch what you say.
I gotta
Watch what you say next.
combine 90 yards against the Browns from Warren and Gainwell. That's all right. That's all I have to say.
Okay. While we're on it too, before we move off, because we've kind of thrown everything at the wall here. The over-under is 40.5 and -180 is the money line for Baltimore, who is favored on the road. Do we have predictions to put in to lock in? What are you guys picking for this game? Final score.
I'll pick. Let me have the 24-20 Ravens beat the Steelers.
Did you guys hear my pick or not?
No. What do you got?
23-17. Steelers beat the Ravens.
Whoa, okay. Mark,
Close.
did you pick Baltimore, Mark?
Yeah, I picked Baltimore 24-20.
You just hate me, bro. Like we don't even do
What are
this a
you
lot.
doing?
Like, nah. It's cool. It's
He's
cool.
thinking
It's
with his
great.
head.
I'm just
What
being
team?
honest,
Wait.
bro.
What team are you?
Huh?
What team are you?
What team do I like?
Yeah. What team do you like?
The Bills, dude. You know
That's why. It's
Whatever.
because I hate the Bills, and I've been ranking on them all year. I
That's been your
understand.
crucible.
That's been my crucible.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make my pick, and then we'll keep this train rolling because we're short on time. I'm going 21-18. I'm going to keep it right under that 40.5. I like the under here, especially with see how the weather goes in Pittsburgh that night. So, but I got 21-18. I got to go Ravens, man. I'm sorry.
You know what? I was building a rivalry with Mark, but you could be on there too.
Yeah, but
We're just
we're
dealing
done.
facts here. It's all love, dude. We're
It's
just
all
dealing
love.
with facts.
Bro, I just sang your praises. Don't take it out on the messenger.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. You can prove us wrong.
We're just holding you accountable. That is all. That's it.
That's
You can
crazy. I
you can
got
go
y'all.
back
Don't
to
worry about it. We're
yes,
gonna we're gonna,
yes.
we're gonna revisit this next week. Sound bites.
Um, quickly, offensive and defensive players of the weekend. I want to hear, Mark, you and I, we're kind of going back and forth in the pregame. I mean, in the pre-show. Who was kind of the standout for you this weekend in terms of offense and defense?
I mean, I think the very obvious one on offense is King Henry. 36 carries, 216 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gonna be hard to beat that most weeks, especially when your starting quarterback is out and you lead your team to victory like that.
Yep.
He is the very obvious offensive player of the week. And then I'd say the less obvious defensive player of the week. I'm a little biased, but he's from the Eagles. He was all over the place on Sunday. Cooper DeJean, 9 tackles. This guy can line up at safety, outside corner, in the slot. He just he was such a good draft pick, and boy, do I wish the Bills picked this guy instead of Keon Coleman. It's just crazy. Um, just seeing what he can do from his first year, having a pick six against Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and now he's just this chess piece that they have. And
Yeah.
it was evident last week, just flying around in the rain and making life hard for Josh Allen and the Bills offense for sure. So I got Derrick Henry and Cooper DeJean.
Good stuff. For offensive player of the week, I got to go with Bijan. Um, obviously, it was not an important game for them. They're out of contention, but playing spoiler for the Rams was pretty awesome. He broke off that 93-yarder to the house, which was awesome. 22 for 196 and a touchdown. He's kind of been the backbone of this team all year, and he showed it again Sunday. I mean, last night, excuse me, Monday. Defensively, I'm taking DeMarcus Lawrence. Seattle shut down Carolina in a must-win game for them. They kept them 10 points and under 300 yards total offense. But specifically for D-Law, I had 3 tackles, 3 assists, 1 sacked, and a forced fumble. A fantastic game for him and definitely a signature piece on that 12-man defense. He was fantastic. But Bars,
I
if there's
gotta I gotta agree with Mark on the offensive player, and
yeah.
then I gotta agree with you for the defensive player.
Fair enough.
I will
Yeah.
say that oh my god, who was it though? Who was it? He got 2 picks off Stafford.
Watts,
Watts, yeah,
the
I give
safety.
it. I would give it to him as an honorable mention,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm definitely gonna give it to D Law. Crazy game record. I would say probably one of Seattle's, if not Seattle's, like best defensive addition. Julian Love is pretty much up there, but I would definitely give that one to D Law, and then King Henry, like
Xavier Watts. Yeah.
the Xavier Watts. He's my honorable mention. Without him playing, 2 picks, two
Yeah.
picks,
Yep.
lights out. Yeah. The Rams would have won yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, if you consider about the turnovers and it's such a close game, there's no doubt about it. Absolutely.
The Rams would have had that.
Yeah, it was a field goal game for sure. And it's very like uncharacteristic of Stafford. He takes care of the ball. He's been basically an 8-to-1 walking touchdown and pick ratio this year. So it's very out of character for him to kind of have um, a lapse in awareness like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in both games that he's thrown one or more pick, or more than one pick, he's lost both.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, and that's typical when you turn the ball over like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate your input, man. We got one more game to cover to basically wrap up Week 18 in the preview. This is the other most consequential game next to Pittsburgh and Baltimore, but Carolina's got to go into Tampa. NFC South crown is on the line for these two teams. Tampa's getting -2.5 at home. The over/under is 43.5 and 142 on the money line. I have kind of my thoughts on it, but I want to hear you guys open up on it and make your picks.
I think that Tampa is going to take care of business. I think early on we were highlighting them as a potential NFC contender. Now they're kind of just limping into the playoffs, but they have quietly kind of run this division for the past 5 years, and I kind of see just the same thing happening. It's going to be tough for Bryce Young to win on the road in Tampa last week of the year to get into the playoffs. And even if they lose, this is a great year for Carolina. Going into this year, I was definitely not a Bryce Young believer, but I'm gonna keep my eye open and see what he does next year. Next year, they would need to make the playoffs for me to be a Bryce Young believer, but I think it's a year too soon for them. Baker has big game experience and playing in front of his home crowd. Just take care of business and get a home playoff game and just see what happens. I wouldn't expect much from them at this point, but I just think they're more fit to compete uh, than the Panthers are at this point. So give me the Bucks covering, and I'll take the over just because I think I can kind of see this being a little divisional shootout. Panthers have had a few of those this year, so should be a great game.
Bars, what do you got, my man?
I got the Panthers, believe it or not. And I'll tell you why. Sorry, I have to about this. Bryce Young is emerging right now. This is his time. He's answering all the naysayers. Last year, he wasn't even breathing towards contention or even looking at a possible seat in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? This year, look at them. Record's better. They're playing better. They have a better team. I give it to them. I think Buccaneers is also on a downward trend. All right. So my AFC downward trend team is the Bills. My NFC downward trend team is the Bucks. One, I hate Baker Mayfield, but that's what I feel. I feel like the Bucks have been slowed down. Um, I don't know if Mbuka is playing, but he's slowed down from his big burst this year. Bucky Irving slowed down from his big burst this year. They've got Mike Evans back, but it doesn't seem like he's really doing much for them. So you kind of got to just look at what you look like. You know, you got to take it for what it is at face value. The defense is okay. It's not like it was in previous years. So I feel like Carolina's gonna. I know it's a hard one. Excuse me. I know it's gonna be a hard one for them, but they have to go and win this one on road because they're gonna be on the road for most of the playoffs.
Well, they'll host a playoff game, whoever wins this game. But I agree with you in terms of how the formula for success has been winning at home, and opposed to being on the road where they've had a losing record. Um, but yeah, I appreciate all those thoughts, Bars. I got to disagree with my man Mark here. I'm going with Carolina, my pick. I love the over. Excuse me. I love the under here, and I love. I think that reign of 5 years for Tampa is just. I think it's. I think all these things have to come to an end, and I just think that Carolina, while they're ahead of schedule, I do feel confident and believe that they have the recipe to win a one game season here, and get into the playoffs. However, they may have to do it. In the games that they've won this year, they've averaged about 148 on the ground. So I think that this is going to be a healthy dose of Dowdle, mixing up the carries. And I think that if you look at Tampa's struggles, they've lost 5 of 6. I mean, they're really not a good football team. They're very injured across the board. They have obviously very old pieces on offense. This might be Mike Evans' last game. He's been very non-committal after this year, and he has no plans for a 2026 contract necessarily yet, per se. Baker's got the right shoulder and the knee injury lagging, persisting. I just think that this is the time for I think this is the time for Bryce Young to shine. Now, the X factor in this game is the weather because I did check the Tampa forecast. It is expecting showers and winds up to 10 miles an hour all Saturday night. So, with rain up to 70% and a few inches of water, I think it favors the ground game and whoever has the better run game, and I think that's Carolina. So I do like where the line is in terms of the over under. because I think this is going to be something like a 23-17 type of game. Um, and I really like. I think they're favoring Tampa based on attrition. I think they're expecting this to be the veteran, competent team, and they're not really giving a lot of love to the young, up and coming team. But I think Carolina's the team to beat here. I really do. We shall see. We
Yes,
certainly
sir.
shall see. Any final thoughts, you guys? I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's New Year's Eve. It's right on the heels of New Year's Eve. Um, we got a lot of important football coming up. Bowl season as well is upon us. Um, yeah. Any final thoughts?
Um,
Well,
if you don't mind, Mark, I'll cut you off.
no, you're
Sorry.
good. Go for it.
Yeah, I think that whatever happens, this last week of football will probably be one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting. There's a couple of playoff implications going on. Actually, it's more than a couple. It's like seeding, and then who's going to make it, who's not going to make it.
Mhm.
So this is going to be exciting. And this year is looking crazier than most. Kansas City is already out. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
they've been
Love
out
So
it.
so the
since
Lions
he's
are
out.
out. So
Since he's out.
if we're looking at two shockers from the AFC and the like one AFC, one AFC, one NFC, that's it right there. Like so, before I close it out, guys, I just got to say that this is gonna be a crazy week, and I'm down for everything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was good. Thanks for having me, boys. Got to get out of here though.
Yeah. Yeah. God bless you too.
Peace, bars.
We'll see you. We'll see you in a couple weeks, my man.
All
Go
right.
Bills.
And
Go.
while we got me and Mark here, before I forget, one last piece of order here. We did talk about briefly about Seattle and San Francisco Saturday night for the division. This is a huge game. Obviously, both are locked for the playoffs, but this really decides the one seed and the NFC West crown. Right now, Seattle is getting 1.5 on the road. They're going to San Francisco, of course, to finish the year. Over under is 49.5, and 120 is the money line in favor of Seattle. Um, what do you think, man? What do you think?
Hey, I'm going to give a shout out to your cousin Ryan. Give me the Niner faithful with the points at home. Come on. I was talking about it during the game recap. I'm not sure, or during when we were talking about it earlier. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just not sure about Darnold. I know they had a really good win against the Rams the other night, and that was great to see. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was like on his back. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of like fortunate
Yeah.
rolls of the ball in that game. Let's say that.
Yeah.
And just I think Kyle Shanahan's quietly having a coach of the year performance with his team and the roster being depleted as it is. I mean, you're winning games with Mac Jones, and then Brock Purdy comes back and he's like lighting the world on fire. So they're just really hot right now, and I think the home field advantage is significant in this matchup. So
Huge.
give me San Fran getting the points, and let's take the over too. Two high flying offenses.
So I'm pretty close to identical with you. I think the home field advantage is tremendously important. I'm taking San Fran with the points, but I'm actually taking the under. I think this is going to be a pretty low scoring game, relatively speaking. I really like Mike McDonald's defense, and I think San Francisco for what they have offensively. If it gets muted by this 12-man defense with Seattle, I think that they're going to have to counter with shutting down some of Darnold's run game and some of his tricks. So I'm taking 49ers by a field goal. I love the under here, and I think that they're going to be the NFC West champs and unbelievably the number one seed. I can't even imagine we're saying that with all they've been through this year.
Out of left field, man.
It's crazy.
Just that kind of year.
Yeah, it didn't even occur to me until Saturday when we were talking with the guys.
Yeah, Ryan's been bringing it up recently, so I'm just like, oh, they can be the one seed, right?
He loves it.
Yeah, yeah. It's an exciting team going into
Yeah.
the playoffs for sure.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Ryan. Don't give me that stink eye. Oh. Well, thank you, dude, for hanging in there with us. Shout out to Bars too for giving us some love, some content. He's our favorite buffoon. We love that dude.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we gotta hit check him because he gets a little too much hubris.
Oh
And
my
a Pittsburgh
goodness.
fan, but we bring him back down to earth. But dude, this was great. Shout out to Happy New Year's to you and your family. Everybody at home, Happy New Year's. We can't wait to see you next year. We got a lot of great content coming. I know it's not gonna sound like a broken record. We will be back to normal recording schedule starting Wednesday, January 7th. And with episodes regularly on a Thursday basis. So, dude, anything you want to leave the fans with before we head out?
Do good, be good. God bless and go Bills.
I like it, dude.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hopefully all good things in the next year. For anybody at home, this is a spiritual war. Be good to your neighbor. Love thy neighbor. God bless you all. And I hope we're prosperous and thriving in 2026. Enjoy some football and be well. We'll see you then.
That's the plan.
Bye-bye.